Hello, love wrestling. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It's another new episode of Between Two Beards.
Can we start off with the biggest news of the week? The Rats lost! If you've got the budget, I've got the time.
There he is.
Hey, boss!
There's the boss.
Hey!
The man with the finest beard on this screen.
Canadian boys, shut the hell up. Let me talk.
You see, the Rads are resourceful. When I got beef with somebody, I can find a way to talk to them.
And listen between two beers.
Hello, love wrestling. Welcome in. It is Thursday night. It is 8 p.m. And y'all know what that means. It means it's another new episode of Between Two Beers. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're going, that's not PLUGGO. And that is correct. This is not PLUGGO. PLUGGO has a child that is graduating high school tonight. So congratulations to the high school grad over there. But PLUGGO's on dad duty tonight. So I called up my friend, the great Tanner Lee from the Kicking Out podcast, asked if he was available. He said he was. So we're going to chop it up here for the next hour. And we only have the hour tonight because following us at 9 o'clock, we have another giant episode of Quizplex happening. I don't have the new graphic, but I have the graphic with the first two contestants announced. And then I will verbally tell you who the third one is. But tonight at 9 o'clock, following Tanner and myself, it'll be Quizplex. We are playing in support of Lufisto. We have Alex Mays. We have Sexy Eddie. And the third contestant will be the returning Little Mean Kathleen. That should be a very, very fun one. A very fun episode of Quizplex this evening. We got Scott in the chat already. We got Culp in the chat. Tanner is better looking than PLUGGO. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to say that. You said it, not me. You said it, not me. But first and foremost, Tanner, how you doing tonight? Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you popping in here.
I'm doing great, my friend. I've been looking forward to this ever since you sent me the invite to come on tonight. Always love chopping it up with you and PLUGGO, even though PLUGGO's not with us tonight. So,
yes.
Yeah, man, looking forward to this and pumped to be here.
Yeah, man. I am pumped to have you here. We're going to be chatting a little bit of everything. Some AEW, some NXT. We got Battleground this weekend. Some WWE. We're just going to be chopping up. The NBA Finals are starting right now. My Boston Celtics are there. So I'm going to try to keep my composure during this hour because, you know.
Fingers crossed for no big Dallas runs in the first.
There we go. Yeah, so. I think we're going to be all right. I'm feeling okay. I feel you are correct. That is Tanner Lee. PLUGGO and I actually had the honor of being on your show this past Sunday night. Got a little wild in there. It was a good time, man. There were 5 of us on there. We were shooting the crap. 10 minutes. I'm going to wait. I'm going to be a good boy and not swear. I'm going to try not to swear. But we were shooting the poop, having a good time. It was a lot of fun. We went down a lot of rabbit holes. There were conversations. Poor Tanner's trying to steer the ship. Poor Tanner's trying to steer the ship, but you know how me and Pluggo can get if you're here every week.
Oh,
you guys know how we can get. Now you throw in the 3 gents from the kicking out. It was a good time. Scott, you're a nervous wreck. Why are you a nervous wreck? It's only game 1, and we're gonna win by 22.
22. You heard it here first.
I think tonight the Celtics win convincingly. I worry if they're gonna lose one at home, it would be game 2. It would be game 2. I feel like they swept the Pacers. But I feel like that's been the trend. The 2 series prior to that, they looked strong in game 1. It was like, this is going to be easy. And then they dropped game 2. And it was like, okay, now we got to, now they won in 5. So they took care of business. But
it would not shock me to see the first half, a lot of ugly basketball be displayed just because of the break.
They had a week off, both teams. Like, so that.
I get tired pretty easily. So.
Yeah. And like, maybe it's because, I'm a big sports fan, Tanner, in general. Yep, so, I watch a lot of sports, not just when my team is involved.
Yep.
But I don't think I would have paid attention to something like that. Like, that feels like they don't normally do that, right? Is it always a week off before the finals?
I feel like it's a couple days, but I don't feel like it's a week. I could be mistaken.
Yeah.
Maybe the series usually lasts longer than the.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, because the Mavericks won in 5 too, right?
Yeah.
They both were done in 5.
9 games combined between the 2. That's pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you figure if each series went 6 or 7,
then the break.
This would be game 1 tonight, but realistically, the game 7s would have probably been Sunday or Monday, and they would have had,
Well, and if
whatever.
this thing, God forbid for you, goes 7 games, it's going to butt up right next to the NBA draft.
Oh, yeah. And I think they planned out that way because if you look at the series specifically with the first 3 games, it's game 1 is tonight, 2 nights off.
Yep.
Game 2 is on Sunday, and then 2 more nights off. Game 3 is on Wednesday.
Yep.
That's a long stretch. Usually it's every other day you're doing here, but they purposefully did that to stretch it out because if it goes 7, it won't. If it goes 7, it would end, and the NBA draft would literally be like the next week or something. Like it would be right there, which I get it. Ratings, stretching thing. I get it.
Sure.
But as somebody who has a team in it where I'm really invested, I don't want to be waiting 2 days in between every game. God dang it. Come on now.
No.
What are we doing?
Nope.
What are we doing? I just had to wait a week to get to tonight.
Right.
And then you're going to, especially like, God forbid, if we lose tonight, you're going to make me wait 2 days.
Yeah.
I got to sit with that for 2 days. You're going to make me sit with that. Get out of here. Anyway.
Yeah.
I digress.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Celtics in 5.
Celtics in 6.
You got it at 6. All right. I feel, hey, at least you're picking the right team.
Yeah.
At least you're
I just think they're overall the better team. So.
Yeah. So, all right, let's roll.
Let's do it.
Well, we had I wanted to pick your brain because I know you keep up with NXT, but you don't regularly watch NXT.
Correct.
But there is NXT Battleground on Sunday, and obviously the card looks strong all the way through.
Sure.
But obviously the big news is 2 things. 1, Jordynn Grace, the TNA Knockouts champion, will be there going after Roxanne Perez and her NXT Women's title. And Ethan Page, as we saw on television this past Tuesday, has officially signed his NXT contract. So not only is he now under the WWE umbrella in NXT, but his first match will be this Sunday, going for the NXT Heavyweight Championship right out the chute against Trick Williams. Obviously, Ethan Page was a free agent. He was let go by AEW, which, I know you're a big AEW guy, as am I. I love me some Ethan Page.
Oh, me too.
And I thought, we could sit here and talk about a handful of more people that we think AEW probably didn't utilize to the best of their ability. For me,
he's right at the top.
He's right near it. Right near the top. No question. Dude can talk. Dude can wrestle. He's good looking. He can be a good guy. He can be a good bad guy. He's got a good story. I can't miss.
And when they used him, he did well in everything they gave him. But it just so odd. I mean, it was one they dropped the ball with. When they signed him and he debuted back at Revolution, I believe it was 2021. All those pandemic years kind of run together. I think it's 2021. I'm like, this is a home run signing.
Easily.
He is him and Danhausen, another one we could talk about dropping the ball.
Yeah, he's
with.
on that list too.
I mean, those guys are great at marketing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the best in pro wrestling. I'm like, you can't miss with this guy. Like you said, he's got everything. He can talk. He's good looking. He's good in the ring. But Tony found a way to drop the ball with him.
Yeah.
So
and
I am happy for him. I am happy for him in NXT getting that title shot already. Is it too soon? You can make a debate, but I'm all for it.
I'm not going to make the debate. I'm all for it. Because the way that they've been so I agree with everything you just said. I agree with everything you just said about this guy. When they gave him that little world title match against MJF when they were in his hometown of Hamilton, that run, that promo he cut, that match he had, like that guy, he proved right there in that moment that he belonged at that level of the card. And they really just didn't do much with him on the other sides of that. But like you said, whenever they did, or wherever they said, hey, we're going to get you on here for the next couple of weeks, he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
And go ahead. Yes.
The American Top Team stuff, wasn't the best, but him and Scorpio Sky, I thought were good with that. He and Darby's feud, they had a great feud in Evolve back in the day. I mean, he damn near killed Darby Allin. That was great. The coffin match, awesome. And even this stuff with Matt Hardy, it was goofy, but he was entertaining.
He was making it work.
And even in ROH, he was doing good stuff.
Yeah.
And I think once they kind of dropped him down to ROH, even though he was taking it on with, positivity. I think that was the beginning of the end right there. So.
And, and I keep up with NXT. I don't watch it live every week, but I watch it every week. And NXT's been good here.
It has been.
I would say the last good, 6, probably a little bit longer. I might be even shortening it, but I would say the last 6 to 8 months, NXT has been, it's been a very watchable program. It has been very good. And when you see things like this happening, and you see someone like Jordynn Grace coming over, and we saw her in the Royal Rumble, and that was a great moment, and it was so cool. And then everybody's like, "Oh my God, is it WWE and TNA gonna work together?" There's so many things, and then it's kind of like, okay, we don't see anything for a while. Fast forward half the year, 6 months, all of a sudden she walks out on NXT 2 weeks ago to get in the ring and challenge Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's title. And then it's like, oh, dang, we remember. Oh, yeah, we remember now. And then you have all the wrestlers from both companies on social media or afterwards saying, I want to wrestle this person. Oh, I'm down to do this. And they're like, hell yeah, let's do it. And that same night, Ethan Page shows up. And the way that commentary portrayed it is they mentioned AEW. Vic Joseph said, hey, wait a minute, isn't he from AE? And before he said the W, Booker T was like, oh, and he did his thing, stop it, whatever. Yeah. But they very much reference, and this whole thing leading up to Tuesday, he was talking about how he was a free agent and how all this stuff. And I thought the promo that he cut on Tuesday was amazing. Yep. He said, I could have sat at home and made my money and not had to worry about anything, but that's not who I am. I like to work my ass off. I want to earn everything that I get. And he goes, I could have sat at home making good money, not caring, but I'm not that type of guy. And he's a heel, mind you. Right. And he's saying things like this. And it's true. Because if he wanted to sit at home, he would be at home.
Right.
Because he wouldn't have left
any indie dates.
Correct. He would have had indie dates, or he wouldn't have left, whatever.
Right.
And you can tell that I just think a guy like that, now he's under the tutelage. He's working with Shawn Michaels, Triple H. These guys that, I'm sorry, if you look at the wrestling landscape, WWE prior to this, all this, these guys lived the life.
Yep.
They were performers. They knew what it felt like to be performers, where they were probably told no more times than yes by Vince. Because one dude was in charge. It was his way or literally the highway.
Yep.
You're out.
Yep.
So they know what it's like to perform that way. And I think that's why you hear all these guys and girls that work for them are the way that they are. And they're like, this is amazing. This is amazing, because they understand us. And they really are like, has the booking been perfect? No.
It's never going to be perfect.
No. Triple H has swings and misses too. It's never going to be perfect. But you know what? It is a lot better over there now than it was even a year ago.
Yep.
Like a lot better. on all aspects. And I think about a guy like Ethan Page, because yes, I don't think Ethan Page is long for NXT. To me, it's one of those things, get him in the door. He's with the company, world title match immediately, maybe continue the program for a little bit. But I'm talking like after SummerSlam, main roster, dude. Yep. That's how good he is. Not saying there aren't other people in NXT that aren't that good either, because they are. We got a second one. We got Sullivan popping in. Let's go ahead. I just think of somebody like Ethan Page working with a guy like Triple H, who's going to understand what he is about and what he wants to do. And I think you're going to see the Ethan Page that we know we should have saw in AEW. And I just think you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, man, what a whip. The same way we look at Swerve in AEW and we go, how the hell? And we know that wasn't Triple H's call. Right. And if it was, it probably wouldn't have happened. Right. But like, it's the same way. You look at Swerve now and you're like, how the hell did WWE even think about letting that guy go? Yep. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You know, I'm super excited about it. I think it got a lot of eyeballs on NXT. It made people believe, because, you know, NXT is moving to a new network next year too. Yeah, CW. Yep. Yeah. And they're actually going to be in more homes. The NXT show is going to be in the most homes of all the WWE programming starting in 2025. Yep. Everybody's got CW. Correct. Like the most eyeballs will be accessible to NXT above Raw, above SmackDown. When you think about that. And so I think when they start doing things like this, and really in today's world with all the journalists, you want to call them dirt sheet, whatever, dude, with all the news and the way we get information, the fact that both of those, nobody had any idea that either of them were happening. Like, and the fact that it happened on NXT, I think that was very much done on purpose to let people know, like, hey, you got to watch all our shows. You got to watch all our shows. Yeah. So go ahead. Yes. Back to the Jordynn Grace stuff. Yeah. So do you think there is a working relationship with TNA and WWE? I know she's going to do an open challenge at TNA's next pay-per-view. Yep. Got to think that's going to be somebody from NXT, maybe even WWE as a whole, but I would think NXT. Yeah. I think there's definitely a partnership. 100%. And there's a lot of rumors floating around there. Nothing reported. A lot of rumors because there's a lot of question marks and some like turmoil backstage going on with TNA, with them losing a lot of people in the creative side of things. Could WWE possibly be interested in purchasing TNA? I mean, if you know, TNA has been a company. When did TNA get founded? Early 2000s? Early 2001? Yeah, right after WCW. So maybe 02, maybe? 02, 03, something like that. Yeah. If you would have asked anybody if TNA would still be around in 2024, and I know they went through Impact and other iterations. No, I'm just talking as a whole. Yep. And I was not somebody who I didn't watch TNA regularly. Like I was really just a WWE kid. So I didn't watch TNA. I knew they had, you know, Christian went over there, Booker T. Right. I knew everybody that went over there. I knew AJ Styles, Jay Lethal, Samoa Joe. Yeah. I knew what I needed to know, but I didn't watch it. If you would have asked even the most diehard TNA fan, if we would be having a discussion right now about TNA wrestling in 2024, they would have said, get the hell out of here. Nope. No way. So the fact that they've been able to stay afloat and keep doing what they're doing for this long, amazing. But you've always heard the rumors that TNA is all, you know, they've only gone to a certain level and then it's kind of, they've never found their home. Exactly. They've gone through multiple TV channels, multiple owners, multiple business groups that have owned whatever. Bischoff, Hogan, Russo. Exactly. Yeah. So like you have that type of stuff, right? And then it's like, okay, you have a working relationship. Like, why not? Why would, like, if you're the owner of TNA and you're like, hey, I like what we do, but this company is interested. Now, again, do I think that would be the best thing for the wrestling business? No, I think the best thing for the wrestling business would be to have a business relationship, but you're both two different things. Right. Just, you know, hey, Paul, I got a big pay-per-view coming up. One of my guys got hurt. Do you have anybody that would be a cool moment to send over here to fight this guy? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. I'll send you this person for NXT 2 weeks or on a Raw. Oh, you need a spot in the Rumble? All right. I got these people for you. Yep. Like that. I think that is more healthy for the wrestling business than WWE maybe purchasing or kind of overseeing TNA or something like that. But I mean, would you be shocked?
No, I would not be shocked. And I think there's something too, they're running this PLE, I guess we call it in WWE, not pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And they're running the PLE in the a smaller venue in Vegas where UFC.
Yeah, the UFC thing. That's another thing I was going to mention. Very cool, like a new venue for everybody to check out too.
This is definitely there's some plans here. I just have a feeling WWE wants a bigger presence in Vegas. WrestleMania 41 is going to be in Vegas. It wouldn't shock me if they open up another type of performance center in Vegas. So have one west and then keep your other one in Orlando, one east.
It would make sense. It would make sense. And like there's, I've heard a couple reports that like NXT talent are expecting a strong UFC presence this weekend as well. So I wouldn't be shocked, especially you have a match on the card where Jada Parker is going to be going against Shayna Baszler. No, I'm sorry. Lola Vice, is going to be going against Shayna Baszler. And these are obviously both two feet that used to be in MMA.
Right.
They're both two superstars that used to be and had like I know more about Baszler than I do Lola Vice, but I think they were both pretty successful MMA fighters. Yep. And now they're both in WWE, NXT, and they're having a it sounds like it's going to be an MMA based match of sorts, Yeah.
And with TKO and Endeavor, I think we're going to see more and more of that.
100%. And I think down the line, we're going to have these super weekends where UFC's running a pay-per-view on Saturday night and WWE's running one on Sunday or vice versa. And they're at the same venue. Yep. I just think that's where we're probably going here. Yep. Not every pay-per-view, but 2 or 3 times a year, maybe something like that. We have Ascended Cyan saying her shirt said NXTNA for those who didn't notice. It did. I thought that was very cool. NXT. It said NXTNA.
He's a loyal Kicking Out podcast.
There we go. Yes, he did. He did pop in here, and the first question he asked is,
"Of course."
Sorry, I ruined that for you.
You're all good.
I apologize for that.
It's all good.
For anybody that doesn't know, I was on his show and we were getting riled up, and I was trying to steer it back on course, and I accidentally called him Trevor instead of Tanner.
Hey, that's all right.
And he's never gonna. That's it. That's canon now forever, and it's my fault, and I feel terrible about it. I feel terrible about it.
It's all good.
But let me. I just want to pull up the full card just so we can get the list of the Battleground. But I'm very excited to see. I'm very excited about the show. Like I think it's a strong show from top to bottom.
More times than not, they deliver.
Yeah, and they really have. But I am honestly excited to see what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what it looks like inside that venue.
Yeah,
because the venue's not built for wrestling. It's you know what I mean. Exactly. And there's only going to be like not a lot of fans, 1,000 fans maybe or less than that. Like I want to see how it looks and how they kind of doll it up a little bit to like how they show it. Like I'm intrigued by that.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the main event, which we talked about. We have Trick Williams versus Ethan Page for the NXT Championship.
Mm-hmm.
We got Roxanne and Jordynn Grace, which we already discussed. We already mentioned in an NXT Underground match. So the no ropes, Baszler versus Lola Vice. We have a triple threat match for the North American Championship with Obafemi, who is incredible. Joe Coffey from Gallus and Wesley, who had to give up that title he got injured.
Right.
We then have a tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. It's Nathan Frazier and Axiom, who are the champions, going against the OC. I think the OC are going to win those belts.
And I like the angle they did the other day. I saw it on
when
Twitter,
they beat him up in the merch thing.
In the merch, that was
the
cool.
merch truck. Very good.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yep.
And then we have a 6-woman ladder match to crown the first ever, the inaugural NXT Women's North American Championship. And the 6 women in this match is going to kick all the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like all 6 of these women rule.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sol Ruka versus Lash Legend versus Fallon Henley versus Jada Parker, who I like a lot, versus Mi Chin versus Kalani Jordan. And I love how they added Mi Chin in there because I feel like that was them going, hi, we need a veteran in there in this type of environment to keep this shit together if it starts to go off the rails.
Yep.
And Mi Chin, you're perfect for this. Your other OC, I know they're not really all in a group anymore, but your OC friends are on the show. We need a veteran in there that if this starts to go haywire and that you can be like, okay, ladies, let's get this back on track. I think that's why she's there.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% that you brought up a really good point there. Yeah.
But all like, if
Do you
don't
think
watch
NXT has too many titles? I see that circulate online quite a bit. Now they're introducing yet another one.
not really.
Okay.
Here's my thing. NXT's women's division, there's like 15 of them. There's a lot of they're so deep on the women's side of the roster specifically that they're starting the WWE under Hunter, since he's fully taken control. One thing that I started to notice is in NXT, and I know Sean runs kind of the shows, their women's division is very, very deep. Very, very deep. And so creating a mid-card title for the women, I think in NXT, I wouldn't do this on the main roster, but in NXT, I think it makes sense because that women's roster is so deep.
Yep.
And then another thing that I've noticed at all levels is they're really starting to, and it's in the beginning stages, but they're starting to iron out a women's tag team division here.
Yes.
They're really starting to put people together and have them stay together and have them, they're starting to chisel out the beginnings of what could be a good, and just all levels, could be a good main roster women's division, tag team division. So that's nice to see too, because they created those belts in both NXT and whatever on the main rosters.
Yes.
But they really never built the division. They just kind of mixed and matched whoever was available and whatever. It seems now there is an actual effort in making actual tag teams in the women's division. And like I said, it's still the beginning stages, but I'm starting to see it turn into shape, and it gets me excited because I love tag team wrestling. I love tag team wrestling.
When done right, there's arguably nothing better in pro wrestling.
Yeah. And if you look at Hunter's track record, when he was in NXT Black and Gold, not everyone, but almost every single one of the takeovers started off with a banger tag match.
Yep.
Almost every single one.
Yep.
And if you look at some of the most memorable NXT matches, the tag team matches are up there. The 2 out of 3 falls with FTR and DIY.
Yep.
The triple threat with them in the Authors of Pain. I was in Dallas, lucky enough, when we were on your show, I had you pick that because you always play it. The American Alpha FTR match from that, incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible. They did, even with when Ricochet and Aleister Black were teaming up, they had a match with the Viking Raiders, the War Raiders.
Yeah.
To open the one in New York.
Yeah,
exactly. Incredible.
Yes.
You're starting to see these little things we have Ascended saying he would have put another vet in there, maybe have 2 veterans to the 4 of the 6. But that wouldn't have shocked me either. I just feel like, that's if you don't watch NXT, some of the names might not ring a bell to you, but that's like as good as it gets in the women's, like Sol Ruka. If you haven't seen her, especially her finishing move that she hits, crazy athletic. She has like a surfer character, definitely fits the vibe, but she's crazy athletic. I don't know if she's there yet. Still, you can tell she's still kind of greenish, but she's good. Lash Legend, personally, if I was picking anyone to win this match, I would pick Lash Legend. But she's like a powerhouse. She's great. Fallon Henley really, I think, has a chance to be a main roster star down the line. Jada Parker, I love. Michin, we know what Michin can do. She's been a veteran for a long time. And Kalani Jordan is another kind of like, Kalani Jordan is the type of wrestler that I could see like kids really loving.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Kind of like Bailey.
Kind of.
Years ago, her first.
Yeah. Colorful outfits.
Yep.
She's like, very not corny, but like she's like very like, positive and kind of
kind of like a Willow Nightingale.
Yes. That kind of bubbly thing. I could see her being a big favorite. But again, it looks like it's going to be a hell of a card on Sunday. And like you said, like WWE in general lately, but like NXT usually crush it with the PLEs.
Yes.
So very much looking forward to that. But I'm very excited to see. I love Trick Williams. I'd give the belt to Ethan Page. I'm going to be honest with you.
Right away, it's hot right now. Why not? Get more eyeballs on it.
Yeah. That's just the way I look at it. And I'm just like, dude, it's don't get me wrong. It's a very impressive thing that he shows up and he's in a world title match.
Yeah.
But why not just have him win and then have Trick chase him
right
for a month or two, and then he wins it back, and then Ethan Page can come up to them. All right, there you go. There we go. I think that's the way to go. Ascended also asked, he said, hey, JPJ, with the merger, what are the odds we could see big wrestling fan Daniel Cormier come on the show sometime? I mean, I would like that. I feel like there were rumors forever about him wanting to do. Now, I don't know if are you talking just in general? Because I feel like now he's been retired for a hot minute.
But he can do commentary.
I was going to say, now I think it would be more of a commentary type thing. Whereas, if he was still in his career, 5 or 6, 7, 8 years ago, you could have got a match or two out of that guy for sure. You probably still could if you really needed to.
And at one time, I know he wanted a Lesnar match. Well, that's not going to happen for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, I think the UFC thing presents a lot of things.
It does,
for a lot of people. Like Conor McGregor down the line.
Oh, that's
is Chael Sonnen still involved, or is he with somebody? I know there's like a bunch of different other companies that aren't UFC now.
Yeah, I used to be a lot bigger UFC guy than I am now.
So. But like Chael Sonnen is a guy that was always talked about, maybe for commentary or other things like that. I thought he was rumored to. He was like, they were trying to make a deal with him at one point. I thought, and it just didn't work out.
Dana's more open to the crossover now than ever before, of course, as he should be, because his boss is Hunter's boss. So
and if WWE is if they're all making money together, guess what? Dana White making a lot of money.
Yeah,
making a lot of money.
5th biggest sports promotion in the U.S. now.
Yeah,
behind the four big,
four:
NHL, MLB, NBA, and NFL. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
It is. It is, because I remember when that stuff. I mean, it's been around for a long time,
right?
But I remember, I'm in my late 30s. So when I was growing up in the 90s, boxing,
I'm in my early 30s. So
boxing was still like a big deal.
Sports,
yeah. And to some people, boxing still is a big deal, but to the general public, boxing does not matter.
No,
like it used to. And when I was a kid growing up, boxing still very much mattered.
Oh yeah,
it was a big time sport, a big time deal.
Yep.
And I remember when UFC started getting a little bit more press in the mid 90s to late 90s, I just remember the talk surrounding it, and it wasn't a lot of positive. It was, this is barbaric.
Yeah.
How is this allowed? I think the majority of the states in the country wouldn't even sanction it to be live in their state at that point.
Correct.
Like, it was not. Nowadays, I feel like mixed martial arts is just like, it's just part of the world
culture.
Now. Yeah, it's just part of the culture, part of the world. Like UFC is, like you said, it's the 5th biggest MMA, mixed martial arts. UFC is the 5th biggest.
Celebrities are going to every single of their pay-per-views.
That was not the case. That was not the case. It was very much Josh Robinson. I love you. But Josh Robinson popped in to say hello, and then he decided to do that. And then he did that. Kisses to you, sir. But your second comment, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here.
I feel like the UFC kind of the attitude and the feeling around it, and I could be wrong there, it kind of changed when the Ultimate Fighter came on.
Yeah.
I feel like the tune of that kind of changed when that hit big on Spike TV, and you got to kind of see more behind the scenes and these guys trying to make it big. And I mean, they did it for so many years. They kind of got dry after a while, but I feel like it kind of started to boom with that. And then,
I would agree. And I also think, like, when it comes to a sport like that, like, I think the more you can show, like, what I think helped with the Ultimate Fighter, that show, was not only the behind the scenes stuff, and you kind of saw, there's more strategy than this, than just them getting in an octagon trying to kill each other.
Right.
You actually saw the more of the different types. No. This guy's not a brawler. He goes in there and he's jujitsu, so he's doing this, or this guy's a submission based guy, so he's doing this. Like, you started to, you saw that. There's different ways to fight. This isn't just hey, get in there and try to kill the guy before he kills you.
Right.
Which is what I think that was the national. They literally just try to kill each other.
Yeah.
And it was like, look it's violent. Yes, it's a fight. It's violent, and you are trained. All right, Zach. Zach is getting on out of here to go get ready for Quizplex in just 25 minutes. Thank you. We'll be leading you in. Oh, here we go. And it's also the last chance to buy early bird points on Quizplex for Kathleen, Sexy Eddie, or Alex by donating to LuFisto's GoFundMe
There you
page.
go.
So if you are, and all the proceeds tonight, whether it's donations or super chats or all that during Quizplex, it's all going to LuFisto to help her out with her medical and situation that she is going on there. But yeah, what the heck was I talking about?
UFC strategy.
Yeah, so you learned that, but you also saw in The Ultimate Fighter, you also saw that these were like real human beings.
Yeah,
as well. They weren't just barbarians that were literally trying to kill. Yeah, exactly.
Good at strategic fighting. I mean,
correct. Like you saw the different. Oh, this guy's a really, mild mannered kind of chill dude, but he really knows how to break people's arms. So he's really good at MMA, or he's really good at that, or like it showed more than just people trying to kill each other.
Sure.
And I think that opened the eyes to a lot of people. And then as it grew and it made that deal with ESPN and all this stuff, and Dana White became a more bigger personality. And then Rogan. You started getting, Joe Rogan helped a lot. And then you started getting to, now we have these fighters. Now we have, Anderson Silva. Now we have Conor McGregor. Now we have Ronda Rousey. Now we have, yeah, exactly. Like not only these even
Brock Lesnar,
Brock Lesnar,
he did something for that sport for a while.
Of course he did. And you had these people that were larger than life person. Conor McGregor is a once in a generation, larger than life personality. 100%. Also one of the best UFC fighters of all time.
Yep. Chuck Liddell, another one.
Chuck Liddell, another
Tito
one.
Ortiz.
Yep. You had all these people that were not only really, really great fighters, but they were personalities, and people liked them because they, there you go. Anderson Silva. There it is.
My cousin.
So I, and then it kind of ballooned, and now we are living in a world where WWE and UFC are owned by the same company.
It's wild. And
the same dudes.
Vince at one time had a chance to buy the UFC. And he turned it down.
And he did not. And now he was bought out by the people that now own both. So, that's how it works. But I'm very intrigued because I think the last year, listen, we've talked about it 1,000 times. I've been watching wrestling for 30 years. Without Vince McMahon, I am not a wrestling fan, probably.
None of us are.
None of us are.
Be honest.
And I am not as big a wrestling fan as I am today without what he did.
100%,
right?
100%.
Okay, that doesn't mean that he is a good individual.
No, he's a terrible.
And he clearly is not a good individual. He's a terrible individual. It is what it is. But it feels like since everything went down and he left, that like a weight has been lifted off the wrestling world.
Maybe not as many people walking on eggshells, so to speak.
Yeah. It just feels like there's just a looseness to the wrestling world that is like, okay, cool, man. Like WWE's humming. We're really feeling really positive about this. We got AEW over here. The independents are hot. Matt Cardona's making more money than he's ever made on the independents. We got all this going on. Japan's still great. Like it just feels like we're in this really good space. And then you have things like AEW working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And now you have TNA people showing up on WWE. And then you have, with social media, the wrestlers have always been kind of jaw-jacking at each other from different companies and stuff like that. But now it's and it just feels like this is really cool shit. This is really cool.
Now,
shit.
Can we get the fans all on board and stop?
That's what I'm saying. I was literally just going to say, not all the fans are really cool shit, but like, what's going on? What's going on here? Ken Shamrock, another one, big crossover with Ken Shamrock.
Absolutely.
Ken Shamrock, you can make an argument, became a Hall of Fame wrestler.
Had Tito Ortiz, Rampage Jackson. I mean, TNA was trying to cross over before about anybody, and it wasn't the best.
Pluggo. Wait, is Pluggo saying that I snubbed him?
Way to snub me.
Oh, wait, hold on, time up. Pluggo said, say it, Tanner.
Marco Stunt. Oh my gosh. I would pay to watch.
Do you
Marco
think I would pay to see him fight?
Yeah.
Now, what is he too small for even the smallest division?
I think he probably is. I'm not.
He's probably too small.
Sure, but
would they put him in there with the girls? Because I feel like from a weight standpoint, he's probably more towards the lowest division of the ladies than he is the men. From a size standpoint, that's just me doing facts. Then Pluggo also said, "Wow, way to sub me. Wow, it's like that. Man, I see how it be. Wow. Wait, I'm not done yet. Just like I don't work here. I'm not crying. It's all heart." That's Pluggo. Aren't you supposed to be watching your kid graduate, Pluggo?
Yeah.
The hell you coming in here making me feel bad? Honest mistake around here. Why are all my honest mistakes being thrown against me? I don't like it. I don't like it.
That co-host of yours, I tell you.
Uh-oh. Come on now. Come on now. First of all, I think
I had a feeling somebody was going
to
say something like, yeah, CM Punk would kill him.
CM Punk would kill him.
And, you know, say what you want about CM Punk's UFC career. I give the dude credit for trying. He put his heart and soul in it. It's tough. It is not everybody's a freak like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I look at it like this way. Like, you can make fun of the guy because he got his ass kicked and all that stuff.
So did Brock in his first fight.
Exactly.
And
even more importantly than that, we're all adults here. Like, how many times have you had a dream? Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. I would like to do this in my life. And how many times do you have a dream that you never get around to doing?
More times than not.
Correct. Yep. So whether you want to make fun of him because he wasn't good at it or got his ass kicked a couple times, that's fine. Yep. But at the end of the day, the way that I look at it is the dude said, hey, I want to go do this. And he put in the work and he fucking did it.
Yep.
It didn't go the way that he wanted it to go. And I'm sure there's a part of him that looks back on it has to have a smidge of embarrassment. That's fine. He's a human being. But like, that's how I look at it. Because there's plenty of things in my 39 years on this earth that I said I wanted to do that for whatever reasons, family stuff, work stuff, health stuff, just me being lazy and not doing it, that I never got around to it.
Amen.
But that guy did it.
Yep.
So,
and he loves the sport. I mean, he's still coming.
That's how I kind of view that. That's how I kind of view that. So, but yeah, I definitely think the crossover is only going to grow with UFC and
there's
WWE
a lot of
to the point.
There.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of stuff going on.
And Vegas, everything with Vegas. There's some, I can't pinpoint it, but there's something big besides just WrestleMania 41 that's going to happen with Vegas.
I don't take my word for this because this is not a report and I don't know, but they basically screwed Minnesota over to go to Vegas next year. They screwed them so bad that they announced the SummerSlam for 2 fucking years from now.
In 2 nights. It gave them 2 nights.
2-night SummerSlam. Not next year, not 2025, 2 years from now.
Their government, their city, they thought they had it. They're looking forward to an economic boost. And that was pretty messed
up. 100%.
Yeah.
Like, so that's how much WWE is all in on Vegas right now. That they were like, hey, we know we promised Mania to you, but we'll make it up to you somehow, but we're going here.
Yep.
We're going here. Yeah. But the finals have started. That was me looking over there. I swear I'm not going to look over there every 5 seconds. I was just understanding what was going on. They just did a tribute to Bill Walton. Luckily I wasn't listening. Otherwise, I probably would have been crying my eyes.
What a legend. What a legend.
Unbelievable. And the crazy thing is, for us, like the Bill Walton and probably the same for you. I know you're a little younger than me.
Yeah.
But the Bill Walton that I know, it wasn't the player.
Oh, commentator.
I knew the commentator, goofy guy.
I knew the Pac-12 loving
there Bill it is.
Walton, and how fitting. I mean, I hate seeing anybody pass, but how fitting when the Pac-12 officially passed Bill Walton soon after that. That's pretty crazy to think about.
Yep. And you got, Bill Walton, a famous Celtic.
Sure.
He was a Celtic for a little bit. He was the 6th man of the year in 86 when we won the championship.
Blazers.
Yeah, he would always come to Boston multiple times of the year, and he would just walk around the city just talking to people because he was that type of guy.
Oh, yeah.
He was that type of guy.
He never met a stranger.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that my Celtics are playing with a little bit more juice because not only should they win it for themselves, but we got to win this one for Bill.
Yeah,
we got to win this one for Bill. But all right, yeah. So okay. Last night we saw the return of Dynamite. We saw MJF return to Double or Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But we officially saw his Dynamite return last night. And his promo, I wanted to get your take on it. It was a typical MJF promo. It was very good. I loved it. But he went in on some people. Now, some you would expect. Okada is with the Elite. He's a bad guy. You would expect that. The comment he said about Okada, where he said, oh, he's called the Rainmaker, but it looks like to me he can't even afford a gym membership.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
It's look, a good joke, but come on. Reminded me of the old MJF, those type of jokes.
Oh yeah, he's loved by the crowd,
mm-hmm.
but he's not the 2023 MJF playing up for the baby face, and he's not the MJF of old with the heel. He's just himself.
Yep, 100%.
It's great, and like you said, he calls out Okada. He calls out Swerve. This is what Ospreay.
He went deep on Will Ospreay. He went deep.
Did you see the crowd reaction on that?
I did. Now, this is where I want your opinion. Because don't get me wrong, Swerve's the champion.
Yes.
I understand. And they had a couple backstage segments when MJF was the champion as Swerve was on his ascent.
Yes, they did.
They did that on purpose. Like that match is happening at some point.
Planting the seeds.
Yes. So that I get.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect MJF to go as heavy into Will Ospreay that he did. And you could hear the crowd's reaction where they were like, we want to cheer you, MJF.
But, bro,
but we also really like Will Ospreay.
Yep.
So we're a little torn right here.
Yep.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I was watching on my couch and I felt the same way.
I did too.
Where I was like, hey, I'm all in. I love MJF.
Yep.
But I also really, really love Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of like, I know MJF is not, he's still getting the babyface reactions. And he's still playing it up to the point where he is he's in the middle a little bit,
he's a little
but he's more babyface still.
Correct.
But the way that he went after like a pure babyface than Will Ospreay, it was kind of like, I'm not saying I disliked it.
Right. No.
It was just kind of like, oh man.
Yep.
What were you feeling? Like, how are you feeling when that was? Because you could hear it, you could feel the tension in the crowd. They were like, we don't know what to do.
Yeah. Oh,
like, we don't know what to do here.
I loved it. He brought up all three of those guys. I'm like, want to see that match? Want to see that match? Want to see that match? And he even called out the Elite too.
Yeah.
In a way,
which I liked.
Because he calls Tony Khan to Mark, but said, hey, now the Elite's running things and Brandon Cutler's
things are
running
worse.
the truck.
Yeah.
And so, I thought it was great. Like always last night, I can't wait to see any of those matches. And even like, I know we talked about this on my show on Sunday when you and PLUGGO came on. I wasn't so sure about, because I figured with Rush's promo last week, we were going to get something out of them.
Yes.
Wasn't so sure about it after last night. I'm pretty fired up about it.
Yeah, I am too. So after MJF does that, he's interrupted by Rush. And Rush comes out and he basically says, hey, I went away. You went away. I came back. I've been winning matches. Where's my celebration? Mm-hmm. You come back. Everyone's celebrating. They're giving you segments. They're doing this. They're doing that. What about me? Which I thought valid argument. Because that valid argument, I bought into that immediately. And then him and MJF go back and forth. He says, like these stupid Americans, you talk too much and all this stuff. And MJF, what I really liked about this MJF promo was he started off by cracking jokes.
Sure.
Saying, oh, you're a Nepo baby. I know your history. Your dad was this guy. Some people would call you a Nepo. Not me. Not me.
And then the crowd starts, but then he cuts him off.
Yeah, and then the crowd stopped. He goes, no, stop it.
Yep.
And then he got serious and he was like, I know how good you are.
Gave him his flowers.
I paid you a lot of money not too long ago to take out Bryan Danielson for me. I know where you come from. I know who you are. I know how good you are. You came over here and basically immediately became the Ring of Honor champion. Mm-hmm. Like, I know how good you are.
Yep. Built him up.
Oh yeah.
Words.
Yep. And then he even got to the point where he said the catchphrase in Spanish for Rush, which I loved.
Yep.
Not that I could understand it all, but I loved it.
I'm right there with you.
I loved it.
Yep.
And then they started brawling, which was awesome.
Yep.
And they had to get separated by security, backstage, official, all of it. And it was really, really good.
Yep.
It was really, really good. And I think that here we go. See again. I think it make me feel bad every time. Every time. Every time. But this is, again, and I'm usually the one that has to talk PLUGGO down from letting the internet dweebs bother him. But you have these freaking dweebs on the internet going, MJF's going to come back in his first matches against Rush. First of all, say that to Rush's face.
Yeah.
Because that guy will murder you on the spot. He will murder you.
Mm-hmm.
First of all. Second of all, the match is going to rule.
Yes, it is.
MJF is a great professional wrestler. Rush is a great professional wrestler. That match is going to kick ass. And Rush is the perfect kind of guy for MJF to have his first match back with. It's a big enough name where it will be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal anyway because it's MJF's first match back.
Right.
But now he's fighting someone who's viable, a viable opponent who has a history that they can build on and his credentials. The match is going to be hard-hitting as fuck.
Yep, always
with
is.
Rush, always. And MJF is going to put on a clinic in the ring because he's also one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yep.
And he's going to get a big-time victory in his first match back before he goes on to whatever the fuck he's going to do.
And Roosh is going to come out of it bigger.
What is the problem?
There's nothing. There's no problem. It's because people just like to complain. They don't like to let things materialize, work themselves out, play out. They want, even if, and thank God they're not doing this, but, let things marinate. But even if they gave us MJF and Will Ospreay, people would complain.
Yep.
Too quick, which it would be too quick, but.
Yeah. But like part of the reason that Pluggo and I came on your show last Sunday was because one of the main question that we talked about was, is Swerve and Ospreay happening too soon? And it's like, there's always no matter what, because even later on in the night, Kristaps Porzingis just came in. Oh God bless. He's back, guys. God bless. Even later on in the night, there was a match, which I thought was a very good one-on-one match with Saraya and Mariah May.
I thought it was one of the better women matches they've had on Dynamite in a while.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
If the way that I look at it is, if Saraya can still wrestle like that, why is she not wrestling all the time?
We talk about that a lot on our podcast.
What is going on? I know she's not everybody's cup of tea. Like, I understand that. But if you have her and she can still have a match like that, why is she wrestling in what feels like twice a year?
Doesn't make sense.
What are we doing? But anyway, they have a good match, and Tony Storm is on commentary. And again, dweebs. I saw Mariah May loses to Saraya. Okay? She loses to, I forget what they call that submission that she does now. I forget what they call it. The cross lock or something like that. I don't know. But she loses to the submission.
Right.
And it was purposefully done that you saw Mariah May in the middle of the ring as she was about to submit, looking at Tony Storm, basically saying, hello, I help you all the fucking time.
Yep.
Can you try to help me? Please. And it's not the first time she's done that.
Nope.
And it's not the first time that Tony Storm has said no, or just didn't do it and let her lose. Okay? And I saw dweebs online saying, oh, I can't believe they had Mariah May lose to Saraya. Saraya never wrestles. Why would you have her lose? Gee, you're burying her.
She gets more TV time than any other woman. Yeah, they're really burying her.
And I'm just sitting here going, what? Are we watching the same show? Are we?
You are one with different brains. Different brains.
Because the story they're telling is that Mariah May is continually bailing out Tony Storm so she can retain her title month after month after month. And Tony Storm is not taking Mariah May seriously and not helping her. When Mariah May is like, can you return the favor to me, please? Please, can you return the favor? And Tony is not doing it. That's the story they're telling.
And it's eventually going to lead for Mariah May right now.
Yeah. And then we saw what happened afterwards, where Shirakawa came out because she's fighting Tony Storm at Forbidden Door. And let's just say they were bumping chests. They were chest bumping. There was a lot of chest stuff going on.
A lot of chest stuff.
Bosoms. Heads and bosoms. There was all going on.
Yep.
The three of them.
Yep.
Not saying I enjoyed it.
No.
But it was all going on.
Yep.
That's the story they're telling. I don't know why. I don't know if these people are just doing it to be. Most likely, they're just doing it to be trolls.
Yeah.
I don't know if they just haven't been watching wrestling for a long time, so they don't understand certain things that my old 35-year-old watching wrestling ass knows. I don't but I see some of these things, and even me, who is someone who does a really good job of like seeing stupid comments and going like, "What the? Come on!" Even I'm like, guys.
Yep.
And it's on both sides. It's not just an AEW. It's on both sides.
100%.
But I'm just like, what do we do? Like, it's not that hard.
Nope.
It's not that hard. And I'm just like, bro, I don't know. It just annoys the hell out of me.
No, yeah.
When I see things like that. Like, I thought Dynamite last night, like, was a really solid show.
Yep.
I thought it was a good show.
Did it have some things that I wouldn't have put on there? Sure. We didn't need to see Jericho 4 times.
You didn't like that? I was going to ask you. You're a big Jericho guy. You didn't like the what?
First of all,
I thought Brian Keith was the star.
He was
of all those segments. I thought Big Bill was good too, but I thought Brian Keith was the absolute star of all those segments. He was excellent.
He was
in those. When he was, go ahead.
I mean, I enjoyed some of it. Some of it made me chuckle, but I'm like, I didn't need to see it 4 times, especially the shot of showing the guy how to scoop dumplings.
Oh my God! This is how you do it.
Everybody else kind of made sense. He's had a history
they were
of
like
Daddy
his old
Magic
people. They were his
and
old
Angelo
people.
Parker, even Private Party. They're setting up. It's going to be Brian Keith and Big Bill versus Private Party after next week. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But that other part was just a random. I don't know, but
Ascended disagrees with you.
Majin loves himself some Jericho.
Well, here's my thing. I thought when they were talking to 2.0, I know that's not their name anymore. Is that their name?
Right.
Yeah, when they were talking to Menard and Cool Hand Ange.
Right.
After Jericho says his piece and he leaves, when Brian Keith looked at Cool Hand Ange and he said, "You better make sure that baby respects Chris Jericho," I almost cried.
Yeah.
I was laughing. I was like screaming, laughing on my couch. That popped me so hard. You better make sure that baby respects Chris Jericho. That was the funniest thing I've ever. That was so good. I thought Brian Keith was an absolute star.
Yeah, I really think this is going to be good for him in the long run.
I think it has to be. I think it should be good for him and Bill.
It should be.
I like Big Bill, and I think Big Bill's underrated. But for me, like that's we only have a few more minutes, so we'll kind of end on this because I know. I know you said Ascended's a big Jericho guy. You're a big Jericho guy too, though, aren't you?
Oh, here
are you in the middle?
I'm in the middle. I was kind of like you said on Sunday. I was ready to get all on board.
Yeah.
And then last week, I was like,
I thought they recovered a little bit better this week. I thought this week was a little better.
Yeah. He did make me chuckle a couple times.
Yeah. But, I think the rhetoric around, I don't know why I'm using that word a lot now, but the rhetoric around the Jericho thing is, hey, Jericho's been the leader and he's in all these groups. And the purpose of that is supposed to be so the younger people get over because they're with Jericho. But the only person that really ever gets over is Chris Jericho.
Yep.
Now they're kind of leaning into that character where he is that guy on screen.
Yep. TV time with Chris Jericho.
Which I like. I think that's funny. I think you lean into it. I think I think it can work, and I think it is working. Sometimes it's a little much, but I think it's working for the most part.
Yep.
However, in order for it to really work on the real side of things, you need to let the young guys get over here. Like that actually needs to happen this time, where Brian Keith and Big Bill, or just whoever you want to
come out of this big.
They need to, because the reason that rhetoric existed is because it was the truth.
Yep.
Because how did Sammy Guevara not get over? How did Proud and Powerful not get over? How did Wardlow
don't even get me started.
Over?
Don't even get me started there.
Like it needs to happen. You know what I mean? Like Jericho is still the star. He's Chris Jericho.
Yep.
But if you're going to lean into that as part of the character now, that he takes TV time and he does all this stuff, the stuff that he was actually doing before, that people, the reason why these things exist and these sayings exist is because they actually happened.
Yep.
Now, in order to make this actually work, is he needs to be leaning into this character, but it also needs to actually be getting these people over.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want someone like a Brian, and I like I said, I'm pro Big Bill too, but when I think about Brian Keith specifically, he needs to come out of this as a top level or ascending to a top level type guy.
Yep.
And last night, again, I thought last night was a good start because I did think he shined more than everybody.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too.
I thought he shined more than everybody last night. And again, it was just backstage segments. It is what it is. But if he can shine that way, we already know what he can do in the ring. He's good in the ring.
Very good.
If he can shine, if he can create a character or create layers to
personality
his character,
to his
exactly. And that's where I think he can lean in on Jericho and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. And whether you like him or not, Jericho, his mind for wrestling is as good as there is.
The best at reinventing himself, arguably of all time.
He's doing it right now.
Yep.
You ask a month ago, everybody was sick and tired of seeing him on the screen. And I know a lot of people are still there, and that's your opinion. You are more than welcome to it. I understand.
Leaning into it now.
But they're leaning into it, and it's kind of working.
Yep.
It's kind of working because I'm starting to, and I know you
said
you are
close.
too.
Yeah, I'm getting close. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to leave it at that.
Yep.
That was a fun discussion. We talked a little bit about everything tonight.
Yeah, it was.
We went a little while. That was a good time.
Goodbye.
Yeah. So right at the top of the hour when me and Tanner get out of here, Quizplex, Little Mean Kathleen, Alex Mays, Sexy Eddie. It's going to be a big one. All donations, super chats, proceeds go to Lufisto. to help her out with her medical bills and things of that nature. So it's for a great cause. It's for a great person. Go check them out. But before we get out of here, Tanner, let the people know where they can find you on the social media and where they can find the Kicking Out podcast crew and everything you got going on.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin, for having me this evening. JPJ, fun like always. Love chopping it up with you. You can find me on the socials at TannerLee92. You can find the Kicking Out podcast at Kicking Out Pod. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We go live talking AW every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And we're on all of the podcast platforms. Wherever you get your podcasts at, hit that subscribe and follow button. We'd really appreciate it.
Love it. Love it. You can find me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms, including Twitch and including YouTube. You can find PLUGGO at PLUGGO_ on all social media platforms as well. You can also find us at B2Beards on all social media platforms. You can find me Thursday now, once again, is officially JPJ Day here.
I love it.
At Love Wrestling, firmly AEW starting this morning. We had our first return back to our original time slot. So you can find me here every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. with my buddy Drew Nicholas talking all things AEW on Firmly AEW. And every Thursday night here, 8 p.m. I had Tanner join me this evening, but I am normally with my bud PLUGGO. You can find us here 8 p.m. youtube.com/LoveWrestlingCA, the flagship show of Love Wrestling for Between Two Beards. Tanner, thank you again for joining me. This was a lot of fun. You know we love having you over here. Thanks for joining me. This was really, really fun. Stay tuned for Quizplex, y'all. And you know the drill. Till next time, everyone say hi to Sue. Until next time, peace out.
Hey there, PLUGGO and JPJ. It's Trent's mom, Sue, and I have a bone to pick with you. So, I understand that you guys are being real idiots and spending your entire monthly budget. You've got to be kidding me. This is not the way to be when you're trying to run a business. Your boss, Spencer, is really pissed off at you. I'm pissed off at you. You have some nerve. Get a grip. You have to control yourself. You can't just go out and spend all the money that you're making, you two beards guys. Oh no, this is coming out so stupid. Anyway, behave yourselves, or I'm going to cut you off from watching AEW. You're no longer going to get to know, be able to meet my son. What? Oh, or me. I'm sorry, this is like, I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for being fans. Watch yourselves.